Part 106. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1064. Su Junming had already taken Zhang Shinian to Kongshanju. As his dojo, Kongshanju has always been the most powerful treasure in his hands. The blessings of the 12 Taoist Dharma not only allow it to be hidden in space, but also hidden behind time. Coupled with the Tao of fate, the Tao of cause and effect, etc., Nuwa is a saint, but it is difficult to find it. In addition to the power of heaven and earth mastered by the saint, and Shan Lun's own cultivation, she was only in the early stage of Hunyuan Xianxian. In terms of moral conduct, Su Junming is not much worse than him. Tiangong Dao has also advanced to the Hunyuan Xianxian realm because of Tiangong Taoist people. Nuwa, who did not believe in evil, activated her spiritual consciousness several times in succession, but in the end she still gained nothing. Brother, this person is definitely not in Wankaiu. Fuxi understood his sister's character and didn't argue. Common Minister. The chief steward of the hall, wearing a ge robe, came over quickly. Kings. Go to the city gate and bring over the list of people responsible for the level of foreign qi refiners. Yes. The ministers hurried away. Why, he didn't leave his address for his brother. Fuxi smiled and said, the Jade Talisman just said that he is coming. This person is really rude. Back then, I personally went to Mount Buzhu and asked Chongshan to teach the Fuxi clan the recipe and seeds for growing yellow rice. But I didn't expect that the disciples of the Zhejiao lineage would conflict with the disciples of Chongshan because of their merits as human beings. I didn't know much about Chongshan Academy at that time. Comparing Zhejiao's strength, I naturally sided with Zhejiao. Su Junming ordered the Chongshan disciples to leave Wankaiu. Because of this incident, the two sides were at odds with each other. This is cut off. Brother, you didn't consider this matter carefully. I also know, but the power of Sanking Dao sect is huge and cannot be offended. I just didn't expect that Chongshan Academy has such long-lasting power. In the past 2 Yuanhui years, there have been many talents and strong ones. The number of Deluo monks is unparalleled prehistoric. Nuwa nodded in agreement. I heard about this sect because they defeated Xianglu of the Wu clan with the help of their large formation. Xianglu is the top witch of the Wu clan and a Hunyuan celestial immortal level existence. One of the few Hunyuan masters of the witch clan who survived the Lich War. It goes without saying that he is very powerful. And Chongshan was able to defeat those people with the help of a large formation, which indeed shocked the world. The Chongshan Academy, which was originally not very famous, became one of the largest sects in the world. It wasn't just Xianglu who they fought back. Fuxi sighed slightly. He never expected that Chongshan Academy, which was different from the education system passed down from master to apprentice, could actually explode with such tyrannical power. If the education of ordinary people can be described as it takes 10 years to cultivate trees and 100 years to cultivate people, then in the world of spiritual practice, it is said that it takes tens of thousands of years to cultivate trees and cultivate people. The longer the time goes by, the stronger the accumulated strength becomes. Fuxi's thinking was still stuck in the prehistoric mainstream state of master-disciple inheritance, and he had underestimated Chongshan Academy. Between Zhejiao and Chongshan, I chose the former. I feel somewhat regretful now. Apart from the saint factor, the direct disciples of the Sanking sect and a small number of registered disciples are better than the Chongshan disciples of the same level of cultivation. But the difference in quantity is too far. Even for Zhejiao, who is known as the 10,000 immortals who come to court, the number of disciples of Deluo is only 1/10 of Chongshan. Moreover, compared to the crooked melons and split dates of Zhejiao, the quality of Chongshan disciples trained through the formal cultivation system is far higher than those of Zhejiao's outer disciples. After truly realizing the reality of Kongshan's rapid growth in strength, he regretted his original recklessness more and more, and wanted to meet with Su Junming again to restore the misunderstanding between the two parties. It's a pity that Bai Yuanxing was summoned several times, but the news he got was that he was in retreat. This time I held a tribal meeting and asked Bai Yuanxing to go back and invite him in person. I thought there was little hope, but I didn't expect that the other party actually came. Not long after, the minister came back with hundreds of jade slips. Fuxi stretched out his hand and all the jade slips flew into his hand. He just closed his eyes and his face showed joy. Found it? Pick out one and give the rest to the minister. Nuwa took it and took a look. Sure enough, I found the record of Chongshan, Su Junming, Dojo Buzaoshan. How did brother know that Su Junming would register at the city gate? Haha. After all, Su Junming is also the leader of the sect, Hunyuan Mighty. Although he didn't want to come to see me because of the gap in the past, but since he agreed to come to watch the ceremony, he would definitely not sneak in quietly. This kind of thieves' behavior is not consistent. The demeanor of a leader. As long as he walks in openly, he will definitely leave traces at the city gate. Brother is still as smart as the sea and full of tricks as before, which makes my little sister admire him. Fuxi sighed. What is wisdom? If you were really smart, you shouldn't have completely offended Chongshan back then. Brother, there is no need to sigh. If you offend, you will be offended. No matter how strong Chongshan Academy is, without a saint sitting in charge, it will not be as good as the three pure ones and the western section. What's more, with my sister here, and my brother now becoming the emperor of the human race, controlling 30% of the fate of the human race in the ancient times, the future will be ridiculously unpredictable. Fuxi nodded. Let's go and meet this fellow Taoist Su, and I'll also see what a person who can win such praise from my brother is like. Fuxi nodded and was about to go out. Suddenly, a powerful escaping light flew from outside. After a while, the general manager and ministers came quickly. Reporting to the Holy Emperor, Your Majesty, Patriarch Panwang of Baiman Mountain and 10,000 Poison Cave is here to visit. Why is this old poisonous creature here? Nuwa's face showed a look of disgust. Patriarch Panwang was also a peer who attended the Taoist lectures in Zixiao Palace, so she naturally knew him. However, there is not much interaction between the two parties. Come now to watch the ceremony. Please. Yes. The minister turned and left. Brother, I have disappeared from this person. That's fine. When I meet Patriarch Panwang, I will go look for Su Junming with my sister. Nuwa nodded and disappeared instantly. Not long after, an old man wearing a robe embroidered with a red nine-tailed scorpion pattern, holding a wooden staff, with a short stature, long hair shawl, and a sinister expression walked in. I haven't seen you for many years, but my Taoist friend Panwang is still as charming as ever. I'm really gratified. Haha, fellow Taoist Fuxi has returned from the catastrophe, and will soon ascend to the throne of the emperor of the human race. My little Taoism, I pale in comparison in front of fellow Taoist. A trace of surprise flashed in Fuxi's eyes. This old man has always been arrogant. Why did he keep his attitude so low today? It seems that he is asking for something from me. Fellow Taoist, please take a seat. Please. The two of them sat down respectively as guest and host, and the general manager ordered the waiter to serve tea. After 3 rounds. Fellow Taoist, I came here a little early. The Fuxi clan's tribal conference is still in January. In the meantime, I have to trouble Taoist friend Panwang to stop in Wankai for a while. It's only 1 month, it goes by in a blink of an eye, it doesn't matter. After a pause, Patriarch Panwang patted the magic bag on his waist, and a jade box flew towards Fuxi. I am poor in Baiman Mountain and don't have much good things. These colorful glazed honeys are what I have accumulated over the years. I brought them here today as a gift to congratulate fellow Taoist Taoist for returning to the Hunyuan Avenue. I hope you will accept them. Although Baiman Mountain was turned into a poisonous cave by ancestor Pan Wang, there are still many good things, and this colorful glazed honey is one of them. I took it and opened it and took a look. There are 9 kilograms of honey glittering in 7 colors inside. This old man is so generous. The colorful glass bee is a deluge-level spiritual insect, and it takes 10,000 years to produce just 1 drop of spiritual honey. Its warming and tonic effect and healing ability are better than the top-grade deluge elixir, and it is extremely precious. Normally, Patriarch Pan Wang is extremely precious and rarely takes it out unless he asks for help from others. Taking out so much today is obviously not just as simple as congratulating myself on ascending to the throne of emperor. Fellow Taoist, I am afraid you are asking for such a generous gift, right? Putting the lid on the box, Fuxi said directly. Fellow Taoist Fuxi has seen thousands of miles, that is indeed the case. Fuxi made a gesture of asking him to speak frankly. To be honest, fellow Taoist, I traveled to the southern wilderness 300 years ago and found 2 time cicadas deep in the 100,000 mountains. Fuxi frowned. Fellow Taoist King Pan, it is indeed a good opportunity. The time cicada is a rare time spirit insect. From the birth of the ancient world to the present hundreds of Yuanhui, the time cicada has appeared no more than a handful of times. My fellow Taoist, I don't know. The 2 time cicadas have been sealed because they haven't received spiritual energy for a long time. One of them has died. The remaining one was given to my 3 disciples to train. Who would have thought that this bastard would be so bold as to steal from me? Time cicada escaped. I tried hard to find it, but couldn't find it for a long time. I had no choice but to ask fellow Taoist people. Fellow Taoist King Pan, you want me to deduce something for you, Fuxi said suddenly. Exactly. Think about it for a moment. I can help fellow Taoist people make calculations, but fate is the most mysterious thing. There are too many unknown factors, and I am not 100% sure. Fellow Taoist Fuxi, don't worry. Regardless of whether this matter is successful or not, I will be very gracious to you. Fuxi nodded. Although Patriarch Pan Wang was only a Hunyuan celestial immortal who was close to perfection, he had not yet advanced to the level of a Hunyuan true immortal. But his poisonous ways are so weird and unpredictable that even a true immortal of Hunyuan will fall victim to him accidentally. Therefore, Fuxi didn't mind selling him a favor. With a thought in his heart, a simple Bagua disc appeared 3 feet above his head. Fuxi understood the innate Bagua, so this Bagua disc looks much simpler than that of later generations. There are only 8 hexagrams of Qincan, Sunzan, and Can Legendui. It was not until the Shang and Zhou dynasties that King Wenjikang added the hexagrams to 64 hexagrams, which were named the acquired hexagrams. There is no difference in strength or weakness between the 2 types of gossip. It's just that acquired gossip is more detailed and easier to understand than innate gossip. To use a simple metaphor, Fuxi's innate Bagua is the main pole, and Ji Chang's acquired Bagua are the branches and leaves. Both are indispensable. Under the influence of magic power, rays of spiritual light soared into the sky from the Bagua Pan, and a mysterious aura spread out. Ancestor Pan Wang stared closely at the Bagua Pan, with deep anticipation in his eyes. As time passed, Fuxi's aura became stronger and stronger. Sudden. With a bang sound, the Bagua Pan seemed to have been hit hard by something, and the aura instantly dispersed. Fuxi's face turned pale and his breath became short. Holy Emperor! The ministers flew over quickly. I'm fine. After taking a deep breath, Fuxi waved his hand. Thanks to book friend Hui for the 100 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1065. He looked at Patriarch Pan Wang, who was staring at him with his eyes full of expectation. Fuxi said apologetically. Fellow Taoist King Pan, Fuxi has fulfilled his duty this time. Ancestor Pan Wang's heart sank. Just after he saw that the aura of the Bagua Pan was suddenly disrupted, he had a vague suspicion in his mind. Fellow Taoist, don't you have any clues? You also saw it just now. My calculation was directly interrupted. Obviously, the person who took away the time cicada has a treasure to hide the secret, or the way of calculation is better than mine. I am a humble Taoist who dares to ask my friend, what is the specific treasure that can hide the secret of heaven? How many people in the world are there who are better than my Taoist friends in the way of calculation? If you want to cover up the secret of heaven, the treasure must be an innate spiritual treasure, and it must also be a treasure above the 45 innate spiritual prohibitions. As for those whose calculations are superior to mine. Fuxi shook his head. The ancient wilderness is vast, and there are countless capable people. I cannot know everything, so it is difficult to answer my fellow Taoist. Ancestor Pan Wang's face could not help but darken, even though he knew that Fuxi's words were unnecessary, and he had also seen what the other party had just tried to deduce. But the reality of getting nothing made him depressed. Have I lost my time like this? I don't dare to show up in my heart. This is the ancient strange insect time cicada. If he can refine his life goo, he may have hope of surviving the catastrophe and becoming a true immortal of Hunyuan. Fellow Taoist Fuxi has been through 2 lifetimes, and is very knowledgeable and wise. I wonder if there is any magic recipe that can help this poor Taoist find the cicada of time. After receiving the benefits from others, Fuxi couldn't refuse them. Think for a moment. If the way of deduction is better than mine, I really don't know. But fellow Taoists can try to find some saints. Ancestor Pan Wang nodded. Saints are blessed by heaven, have vast supernatural powers, and are transcendent among all cultivators. With Fuxi unable to help, they were indeed their last hope. However, the saints did not want Fuxi to be so talkative. If you don't pay a big price, you won't care about the 3 cleanings. Thinking about Patriarch Pan Wang makes his body ache. As for the second saint of the West, if he joins the Western sect, they will definitely help. But for a person who is used to being free in Baiman Mountain, joining the Western religion and being ordered around by others is not what he wants. Seeing his struggling expression, Fuxi didn't speak again. He has already said what needs to be said, and the specific decision is up to Patriarch Pan Wang himself. After drinking a cup of tea, he quietly waited for King Pan's decision. However, what he didn't expect was that his restless sister had already followed the address left by Su Junming in the registration list. A number 183. Teacher, that's it? Jin Fengdao was wearing a pale golden palace attire. Nuwa nodded slightly, looking at the house opposite with her phoenix eyes. It's such a powerful restriction, even if the Hunyuan monks don't understand the formation, they wouldn't dare to break through. This also shows that Su Jun is definitely here. Jinfeng, knock on the door. Is teacher. Jinfeng stepped forward. Dong dong dong. The clear knock on the door, which triggered the restriction, was soon known. Not long time. With a squeak sound, the courtyard door opened. A tall middle-aged man wearing straw shoes and coarse linen clothes appeared in front of him. He has a dark complexion, his long hair is simply pulled into a straw bun on his head, and his face looks like a farmer who works all day long in the fields. However, a pair of phoenix eyes are piercing and impressive. Judging from his cultivation level, he has already reached the level of Deluo Jinxian. This person must be proficient in alchemy. After refining elixirs for a long time, there is an aura of elixirs all over the body, and anyone with a discerning eye can tell at a glance. Of course, Su Junming is an exception. He has sealed his own energy a long time ago. Zhang Shinian was also sizing up the 2 women in front of him. Standing in front of the door, the woman in pale gold palace clothes glanced at him. She was also a perfect Deluo Jinxian, and her aura was full of auspiciousness. It is obviously a phoenix. This one in the back. Zhang Shinian felt solemn in his heart. He actually couldn't see through the other party's cultivation at all, and couldn't even feel the other party's existence. But the other party is really standing here. Obviously, the other party's cultivation level is far higher than his own. Is this the residence of true Lord Chongshan Su Junming? Jin Feng asked. Exactly. I wonder who you two are. Before he could finish speaking, his mentor's voice suddenly appeared in his ears. Shinian, bring them in. Yes. Creak, the courtyard door opened wide. You two, please come in. Teacher Jinfeng stepped aside. Nuwa stepped in and came to the patio. She immediately saw a young man standing on the steps in front of the door, standing with his hands behind his back, wearing a green robe, with his hands behind his back and a smile on his face. Her long, thick black hair was tied up by a gold ring and hung down on the back of her head. The waist is tied with a gold rope, and a green gourd hangs on the left side. It not only has the temperament of a monk, but also adds a bit of elegance to the person. What shocked Nuwa even more than his appearance was that even though the other person was 3 feet away from her, her consciousness still couldn't feel the other person's existence. Could it be that this person's cultivation level can surpass that of a saint? I never thought that Saint Nuwa would come to visit me personally. I am really honored. He took a breath and calmed down. I came here without permission. I hope fellow Taoists won't be surprised. Smile lightly. Mother, please. Please. Stepping in, there are no tables and chairs in the hall, except for common futons. Su Junming sat cross-legged on the main seat, and Zhang Shinian sat beside him. Nuwa sits first on the left, and Jinfeng sits on her left. Su Junming waved his hand. An old tree and carved tea table appeared in front of him. The simple and exquisite tea sets, the spiritual water with strong spiritual energy, and the mellow and elegant tea leaves, under Su Junming's skillful washing, brewing and brewing methods, turned into fragrant tea that filled the house. With a wave of his hand, 2 cups of spiritual tea flew in front of Nuwa's master and disciple. Please taste it. After reaching out to catch it, Nuwa sniffed it gently and said with a smile, I didn't expect that Taoist friend is also good at tea ceremony. Moreover, this tea is also very good. If I read it correctly, it should be the acquired Hunyuan spirit seed. Tao-friendly eyesight. It took him a polygon meeting to use the chaotic spiritual energy to cultivate this Kui Liasu spiritual tea to the lowest level of Hunyuan. However, although my spiritual tea is good, it is not as good as the innate spiritual tea of the Empress and fellow Taoist Fuxi. Everyone has his own merits. As she spoke, Nuwa took a sip of tea, closed her eyes slightly, and enjoyed it for a moment, then suddenly she looked directly at Su Junming. I wonder where fellow Taoist Su practiced Taoism before? Why didn't he go to Xixiao Palace? Su Junming's eyes flashed and he smiled. I have been cultivating overseas before, and I only came to the Central Plains before the 2 elements meeting. As for the Xixiao Palace, I am not afraid of my queen's jokes. I became a Taoist a little late, and I didn't catch up with Taoist ancestors to give lectures. It's really a pity. That's it? It's really amazing that fellow Taoist monks can reach such a state of cultivation in just a dozen or so Yuan Hui time. Your Majesty is so wonderful. Compared with your Majesty, I am still far from being a saint. Nuwa smiled faintly, with a hint of pride in her eyes. He is one of the 8 saints in the ancient world. How can he not be proud of such achievements? Fellow Taoists have achieved Taoism through the method of Hu Tian. A dozen or so Yuan Hui can advance to Hunyuan. Their talents, and understanding are all first-rate in history. In the future, they are expected to become Hunyuan golden immortals. Su Junming smiled. Through a brief exchange, it can be seen that Nuwa is a very proud and hot-tempered person who loves face. In the future, King Zhou mentioned a few love poems to Nuwa in the temple, which made her angry and wanted to destroy the Yin-Shang dynasty directly. If it had not been blocked by the fate of this human dynasty, I am afraid that the Shang dynasty would be gone before it could be granted the title of God. This shows the character of this empress. For such people, there is definitely nothing wrong with crossing a few more sentences. Your Majesty, thank you. Looking at Su Junming with a smile on his face, he looked calm and relaxed. Fellow Taoist, this is a rare opportunity. How about you and I discussing Taoism? This is to spy on my cultivation, Su Junming thought to himself. Since the Empress is so interested, Pandeo will naturally be happy to accompany you. Nuwa Empress cultivated the Tao of creation, and there is also the Tao of creation among the 12 Supreme Tao. It is just right to learn from this female saint's strengths and make up for the shortcomings, so that one can further his cultivation on the Tao of creation. After looking at each other, the two took a breath, and King Yun flew out from above their heads. Empress Nuwa has become a saint. The King Yun has an area of 1 acre, and 3 huge milky white lotus flowers are floating on the King Yun. Many golden flowers of merit swirled around King Yun, and soon formed a 4-legged cauldron. There are reliefs on each of the 4 walls of this cauldron. On one side is a goddess with a human body and a snake tail standing majestically, surrounded by strange monsters, who are respectfully paying homage to her. On one side is a goddess with a human body and a snake's tail, making a human out of clay. On the other side, there is the scene of the goddess with a human body and a snake tail killing a giant turtle, making a pillar of heaven, and refining stones to mend the sky. Finally, there is a goddess with human body and snake tail holding a red hydrangea, and there are reliefs of countless human beings and even immortals getting married. Obviously, these are the great merits done by Nuwa Empress in the past. The merits of the demon clan include making humans out of clay, refining stones to mend the sky, and entering into marriages. At the same time, Su Junming also figured out what the heaven and earth Xianhuang merit tower was going up. 100,000 merits is a golden flower of merit, 1 million merits is a golden zizi, 30 million merits is a golden lotus, and 3 billion merits is a tower of heaven and earth black and yellow merits. I just don't know how much merits this golden cauldron of merits requires. Su Junming guessed that it would definitely be no less than 300 billion. When I think of this number, my scalp goes numb. Over the years, he has only accumulated 3 exquisite towers of heaven and earth Xianhuang merits, which is tens of billions of merits. This was thanks to the destruction of heaven and earth after the Lich War, which gave him the opportunity to quickly accumulate merit. There won't be such a big war in the future. Only with the accumulation of time and months, can we collect the 12 Linglong pagodas of Xianhuang merit of heaven and earth. No wonder, except for the 7 saints, no one can become a saint through merit in the future. It is really difficult. Seeing Nuwa, Su Junming completely gave up the path of becoming a saint through merit. In addition to the shocking merits of this empress, on the lotus in the middle, there is a large bronze cauldron, which emits a strong breath of creation. Obviously this is her natal spiritual treasure. Floating on the lotus on the left is a rolled scroll and a red hydrangea. There is no doubt that these are the well-known mountains and rivers map and red hydrangea in the hands of Nuwa. The former has 46 innate spiritual treasures, and it is also a rare space spiritual treasure. The latter has 44 innate spiritual taboos, which are the spiritual treasures of the path of cause and effect. On the lotus on the right side, there is a sky blue lotus lamp and a black gourd floating on it. Seeing them, Su Junming immediately thought of the 2 treasures in Nuwa's hands. Lotus lanterns and demon beckoning flags. The former has 43 innate spiritual taboos and fire-type spiritual treasures. The latter's 45 innate restraints are actually rare Yin spirit treasures. No wonder it was trained by Nuwa to summon monsters. The soul belongs to Yin, so it is most suitable for refining the soul-controlling spirit treasure with Yin attributes. There are many spiritual treasures, but unfortunately there is no Qinkanding that Su Junming wants to see most. Thanks to book friend 1611180926553118 for the 100 starting coin reward. Thank you very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1066. Unlike Su Junming, Nuo has the Dian mirror to peer into reality. What he saw above Su Junming's head was just a mass of sky blue clouds the size of an acre, dotted with stars. But now she finally felt the other party's cultivation. Hunyuan celestial immortal perfection, a cultivation level in the middle to lower level among the existing Hunyuan monks in the prehistoric times. Of course, she also knew that although a monk's magic power was important, his combat power was not just about his visual power. Taoism and magical weapons also played a large role. But these are difficult to assess without a battle of wits. Just when Nuo's mind was wandering, Su Junming's Qingyun leaned directly over. The two of them met each other, and in an instant countless thoughts about the way of space filled their hearts. Nuo did not expect Su Junming to be so direct. Qingyun Xiangjia is second only to the dual cultivation of Yuan Shen, and is rarely used unless it is a Taoist friend who has known each other for many years. Especially Su Junming is still a man. A hint of offended anger arose in Nuo's heart, but it was quickly dispelled by Su Junming's mysterious and profound space laws. Because of the Zhongshan Shiji too, she also had a certain understanding of the Tao of space, but unlike Su Junming, she directly understood the Hunyuan true immortal realm. So, it didn't take long to get immersed in it. Of course the same goes for Su Junming. The reason why he directly approached Qingyun was because of Nuo's creation. After Tiangong Taoist's enlightenment from a multidimensional society, the Tao of creation is only one step away from advancing to Hunyuan Xianxian. But this last step is the most difficult. Nowadays, it is rare to encounter Nuo who takes the initiative to send her to your door. Of course, you must seize the opportunity. Countless creative inspirations poured into my heart. Waves of enlightenment filled my mind. Nuo's understanding of the Tao of creation has entered the realm of Hunyuan Xianxian and has gone a long way, so she is of great help to Su Junming. The two of them sank into the realm of enlightenment. The living room also became silent. Jinfeng and Zhang Shinian looked at each other and said nothing to each other. They closed their eyes and practiced, waiting for their respective teachers. At this time, Taoist Tiangong, who was meditating in the chaos at the edge of the prehistoric world, suddenly had his breath floating. He and Su Junming have soul connections, and the talisman of the Tao of creation is also with him. Now that Su Junming's way of creation has improved greatly, he will naturally improve accordingly. Yang Mei, who was meditating on the back of a turtle and sitting under a hollow willow with her eyes closed, opened her eyes. Uncle Seventh, what happened? I want to survive the Hunyuan Xianxian heavenly tribulation. You must first escape 100,000 miles away. Yes. Yang Mei agreed, urging the hollow willow, and the figure disappeared instantly. The next moment, he came to the only remaining head of the underworld demon beast. After putting it away, he ducked away. The power of the Hunyuan Xianxian tribulation is infinite. Although the giant beast's head is a dead object and will not cause thunder calamity, considering the master's instructions after leaving, it is better to put it away in advance. There is more than enough space inside the hollow willow to accommodate it. Arriving 10 trillion miles away, as soon as I stood still, I saw endless calamity energy flying from all directions. In just a moment, it has spread for 3 trillion miles. Although it is not 1/30th the size of the black tortoise's physical body, it is already considered the top among the Hunyuan mysterious immortal thunder tribulation. The thick calamity cloud was like a huge boulder, pressing down heavily. What a strong calamity, no worse than mine before. In his previous life, he was a god and demon of chaos, and Taoist Tiangong's black turtle body was also a god and demon of chaos. He was born with a huge body, with magical power like the sea, and a solid body. It is also more difficult to advance. Boom! A 1,000,000-foot thick thunder struck down. In an instant, the chaotic energy rolled and turned into earth fire and feng shui, and then quickly turned into powder under the huge thunder disaster. In an instant, half of the black turtle's physical body was shrouded in thunder. However, for the body of the black turtle that has been completely repaired by Taoist Tiangong and has reached the perfection of Hunyuan Xianxian, such a thunder tribulation is no different from scratching an itch. That thick layer of tortoise shell, that is, the shameless Gai Hongjun, used the power of the world to break through, and successfully killed the black turtle. The power of this heavenly tribulation is far inferior to that of Hongjun. Seeing Uncle Seventh Master calmly despite the violent thunder, Yang Mei couldn't help but feel a little envious. The black turtle's natural tortoise shell has amazing protection, which is a great advantage in overcoming tribulations. Thunder disasters fell one after another, and the mighty power of heaven became stronger and stronger. Slowly, the entire black turtle body was enveloped. However, the power of scattered thunder also decreases. Taoist Tiangong didn't even use his natal magical weapon. He withstood 72 purple sky thunders with only his physical body. The thick inner demon tribulation energy fell, and compared to the thunder tribulation, the inner demon tribulation that penetrated directly into the soul was a greater threat. Yang Mei subconsciously glanced at the phantom of the Dian mirror in Danshan. With this treasure to protect the body, the power of the inner demon tribulation is greatly reduced. No need to behead the corpse to survive it smoothly. Thinking of this, he was also a little lucky. In order to overcome the inner demon tribulation, he suffered a lot. Now that I have this precious treasure to protect me, I will definitely be able to transcend the Hunyuan realm in the future. Yang Mei is full of confidence. His understanding of the Dao of space has already reached the peak of Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Now he only needs to cultivate his mana back to prepare for breaking through to the Hongmeng realm. When I go one step further, I will definitely seek retribution from that bastard. There was a trace of hatred in his eyes. As Yang Mei thought, the inner demon tribulation poses no threat to Tiangong Taoist. And even without the Dian divine mirror, it would be relatively easy for a Tiangong Taoist to overcome the calamity. Inner demons always target the weaknesses of the soul, and the most common ones are good, evil, and attachment. However, Tiangong Taoist has been sleeping most of the time since his incarnation. Good and evil are basically insulated. The only thing is that obsession is hard to live with. He is too lethargic. But compared to monks who have practiced for tens of thousands of years and experienced killings and hundreds of millions of years of vicissitudes, their spiritual weaknesses are undoubtedly much less. When the calamity energy is transformed into the spiritual energy of creation, it rolls down. Tiangong Taoist soul has officially transformed. Roar. The earth-shattering dragon roar shook billions of miles of chaos. Even the entire chaos boulder trembled. At this moment, the spirit and the flesh merged, and he truly mastered the black turtle body, no longer clumsy as before. Looking at the domineering two-headed black turtle surrounded by billowing chaos energy, Yang Mei couldn't help but look sideways. The work of heaven and nature go hand in hand, which is indeed extraordinary. At the moment when Tiangong Taoist made a breakthrough, Su Junming, who was far away in the wilderness, suddenly felt something in his heart. King Yun, the size of an acre field, was surging with wind and thunder. Immediately afterwards, the pale green color that once represented the path of space transformed into the milky white color that represented the path of creation. A milky white, somewhat illusory talisman shines brightly. All other talismans were suppressed. Under its support, the powerful Taoist rhythm of creation continued to expand, deeply penetrating into Nuwa King Yun. Attracting each other, Nuwa's King Yun was instantly shaken when she felt Su Junming's powerful creation aura. The two powerful auras of creation were like two giant dragons, circling and flying, intertwined with each other, and went straight up into the air. The sudden change caused the two men to lose their vitality in an instant. Under the strong inspiration of creation, heaven and earth interact with each other, and the spiritual energy is entangled. The results were surprising. Nuwa reacted and immediately restrained her breath, but it was too late. Su Junming responded quickly, but it was already too late. He was about to apologize, but he was met with two angry eyes. Smile awkwardly. Mother, this is an accident. Su, Jun, Ming, go to hell. With a palm shot, tyrannical magic power and lightning rushed over. The saint took action with anger, needless to say, its power. Fortunately, Su Junming is not slow either. As his heart moved, a long black flag filled with deathly energy stood in front of him. Boom! In the shocking loud noise, the powerful impact spread out in all directions, and the room was instantly shattered. The surrounding houses and even the whole space were in bad luck. As an innate spiritual treasure comparable to the Kinkan cauldron, the underworld death flag has astonishing defensive power. Nuwa was a saint, so she didn't use any magic weapon, so she hurriedly attacked, but she couldn't break it. But the tyrannical impact still made Su Junming's scalp numb. Seeing Nuwa standing in mid-air with evil eyes and soaring momentum, Su Junming, who knew he was in the wrong, did not dare to wait any longer, grabbed Zhang Shinian, and disappeared instantly. The Daluo monks who were affected by the disaster rushed out of the ruins of the room in embarrassment. They were angry and subconsciously wanted to seek revenge on the culprit. However, after seeing Nuwa in mid-air, her anger and vast aura overwhelming the sky, made quail in an instant. Disappear as far as you can. No one dares to disturb an angry saint. Nuwa's outburst not only alarmed Daluo here, but even the many Hunyuan monks who came here previously to participate in the Fuxi tribe conference were alarmed by the saint's pressure. Fuxi didn't care about Patriarch Pan Wang and flew out directly. Sister, don't make mistakes. It was about to be the time for the tribal meeting, and when he was on the emperor's grand ceremony, if something went wrong, it would not only be embarrassing, but also affect his career. Nuwa, whose consciousness swept across and couldn't find any trace of Su Junming's breath, took a deep breath. She knew how important tribal council was to her brother. But how can we be willing to give up here? Su Junming, if you don't come out, I will go to Buzhu Mountain and destroy your Chongshan Academy. The mighty sound enveloped the surroundings for hundreds of millions of miles. Who is Su Junming? This person is too bold. He dares to provoke Nuwa. He is a saint. Chongshan Academy is coming to an end. Everyone was talking and gloating about the misfortune. Listening to his sister's angry expression as if she had taken gunpowder, Fuxi frowned and was deeply confused. In just a few hours, what happened between his sister and Su Junming? It actually made her so angry. Chongshan was in the middle, standing with his hands behind his back. Su Junming, who had been paying attention to the changes in the outside world, naturally heard Nuwa's voice. Teacher. Zhang Shinian was full of doubts. He didn't know what happened from beginning to end to make Saint Nuwa so angry. Alongside, Su Junming didn't expect such a thing to happen. Tiangong Taoist's previous breakthrough allowed him to elevate his creation path to a great level, with his aura floating and his energy lost. It happened that Nuwa also majored in cultivating the Tao of creation. Inspired by his creation aura of the same realm, Nuwa's aura also floated. The chi of both parties interacts with each other, just like dual cultivation. Nuwa naturally felt offended. That's why she's angry. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1067. Shinian, you stay in Huancao and participate in the tribal meeting organized by the Fuxi clan for my master. After nodding, teacher, Nuwa is a saint and is very powerful. It is better to avoid her if you can. Haha, it's okay. You have to be measured as a teacher. Staring at Nuwa, who was filled with evil spirits, Sujun knew that he could not avoid this matter. Empress, Pandeo, Emperor Wa is waiting for you in the chaos. The sound reached his ears, and Zhang Shinian was sent out of Chongshan residence at the same time. Nuwa was furious and her eyes were full of evil. With one step, he took the golden phoenix with him, transformed into escaping light, and flew towards the chaos like lightning. Fuxi couldn't stop him and couldn't leave at this time, so he could only sigh. Su Junming came to chaos with the help of the teleportation array. Why are you back so soon? Tiangong Taoist was still immersed in the joy of breaking through the realm, and was very surprised to see Su Junming coming back. It's not because of you. Letting go of his memory allowed him to see what happened between him and Nuwa. Haha, you should thank me. Get out of here, don't even look at how much trouble you've caused me. Teacher. Yang Mei flew over. After nodding at him, he turned around and flew towards the chaos. He had passed by the Wa Palace before, so he naturally knew where it was. After passing through billions of miles of chaos, a prehistoric world like a big bright blue egg appeared in front of us. Next to it, there are several smaller light spots. Emperor Wa is already in sight. Although Nuwa is a saint, returning from the prehistoric world is not as convenient and quick as Su Junming's teleportation array. Of course, it's not slow. Su Junming's magic power turned into a green phoenix, and he quickly attracted Nuwa over. Arriving at the edge of the prehistoric world and looking at that hateful figure, Nuwa suddenly became angry. Not much to say. Reaching out a little, the red hydrangea instantly turned into billions of feet, like a meteorite falling from the sky, hitting Su Junming with earth-shattering power. As Su Junming waved his hand, the underworld death flag soared into the sky, casting down a heavy barrier of death energy. Boom! It's like Mars hitting the Earth. The endless chaotic energy turned into earth, water, wind, and fire. This innate spiritual treasure is so powerful. Nuwa looked at the giant flag holding up the sky and was secretly surprised. I had seen it before when I was in Huanqiu, but looking at it now, it seems to be even more powerful. As soon as my heart moved, a lotus lamp appeared. With the help of mana, flames shot up into the sky and instantly turned into a boundless sea of fire. The red hydrangeas stirred the flames, and they moved up and down, like two ferocious dragons, attacking Su Junming at the same time with shocking power. Reward kindness. After instantly recovering his mana, he waved the underworld death banner. The thick death aura is like a huge wave, layer upon layer, covering the whole body airtight. Boom boom. There were two loud noises, like a silver bottle being broken. In an instant, sparks flew everywhere, spiritual energy rolled, and wind surged within billions of miles. With an expressionless face, Nuwa activated the red hydrangeas and lotus lanterns and struck them one after another. Knowing that Su Junming was proficient in the Dao of space, she did not use the Zhongshan Shiji map. But what surprised her was that no matter how she fought, the opponent's defensive intensity did not decline at all from the beginning. Logically speaking, the other party's cultivation level is only that of Hunyuan celestial perfection, which is 2 realms behind her. Even with this unknown and powerful innate spiritual treasure, it can block her Taoist spells several times. But after consuming a lot of mana, it will inevitably fall into a weak position. But Su Junming is completely the opposite. Seeing that her Taoist method was stopped again, Nuwa took a slight breath. This person is indeed extraordinary. He is a fellow practitioner of both space and creation, and he can actually achieve a level far beyond his cultivation. I don't know how he cultivates. After realizing that he couldn't defeat the opponent with his current cultivation and means, his heart moved slightly. A huge force came from afar. Although this place is located on the edge of the prehistoric world, as a saint of the prehistoric world, she can still borrow the powerful divine power of heaven and earth from the prehistoric world. A powerful aura emerged from Nuwa's body, like a giant beast awakening, exuding majestic power. Su Junming instantly understood that after being unable to attack for a long time, Nuwa was ready to use her own methods as a saint. If this is really the case, the underworld death flag alone will definitely not be able to stop it. It doesn't matter, there's no one here anyway. Forming a seal with both hands, the 17 sides of the Danshan are illuminated by the divine and demonic flags. Dushan gods and demons formation. Vast spiritual light spurted out from every aperture. The powerful aura is like an erupting volcano, rising into the sky. In Nuwa's unbelievable eyes, a billion-foot-tall giant with gnarled muscles, an ancient appearance, eyes like the sun and moon, and an earth-shaking aura stood tall and proud, pushing aside the chaos. The ancient aura that spans endless years is shocking and inexplicable. Great God Pangu. Shocked, Nuwa blurted out. As a saint, she certainly knew that the appearance and aura of Pangu was the same as the giant in front of her. No, it's the 12 capitals formation of divine evil. After looking at the giant's translucent body, which was obviously not a real existence and more like some kind of magical power, she instantly realized. How come you know the 12 heavenly gods of the witch clan? Su Junming, who was located in the Pangu Sea of consciousness space and immersed in powerful power, slowly opened his eyes. The 17 Dushan god demon banners formed a large formation after they advanced to Hunyuan Xianxian. They did not need the world power of Pangu world to compete with Zunti, a new Hunyuan golden immortal. Subconsciously activate the Dian mirror. The clear mirror light was like a basin of cold water pouring down, and the hot thoughts instantly calmed down. Just now, he was almost addicted to the powerful power of the Dushan Shensha formation and was unable to extricate himself. Take a deep breath. Although the Dushan divine evil formation is good, it is better to use it less in the future, otherwise it will be too addictive and it will easily affect your own state of mind. Staring at the confused Nuwa. Mother, it was all a misunderstanding before. I hereby solemnly apologize to you and hope to forgive you. At the mention of the previous incident, a trace of shame and anger flashed across Nuwa's face. Don't think that the 12 heavenly gods and evil formation can stop me. Next moment, an earth-shaking breath rose from Nuwa's body into the sky. The mighty power of heaven and earth, like the Yangtze River, suppressed the surrounding chaotic spiritual energy and became supple. The red light of the red hydrangea skyrocketed, like a big sun rising slowly. The dazzling light shrouded the surroundings for trillions of miles. It sets off the majesty and inviolability of Nuwa's treasure. Scold. It was like the mysterious sound of heaven and earth suddenly exploded. The red hydrangea, which was comparable to the sun star in ancient times, seemed to be slow but was actually fast. With earth-shattering power, it hit Su Junming directly. Wherever it passed, the chaotic energy turned into earth, fire, and geomantic omen. Staring at this shocking blow, Su Junming did not dare to neglect. He held his left hand and a giant shield suddenly appeared. It was like an extremely majestic mountain falling suddenly. Boom! Boundless chaos shook at the same time. The huge Pangu body was completely blocked behind. He took a step back and put his shoulders against the giant bronze shield. The next moment, the red hydrangea came up. For a moment, the violent chaos seemed to have stopped. Time has also lost track. I don't know how much time has passed. A dazzling red light suddenly exploded, and the vast light illuminated the surroundings for billions of miles. Boom! Under the violent impact, the turbid air sinks and the clean air rises. The earth, water, wind, and fire gradually faded away, and a world that was 1/10 the size of the prehistoric world quickly took shape. The battle between the two actually opened up a huge world. When the impact dissipated, the surrounding chaotic energy quickly squeezed, and the heaven and earth began to close. Seeing this, Su Junming hesitated slightly, then thought about it and let it go. After experiencing the underworld monster, he knew that chaos was far less safe than in the wilderness. If he opens up a world, he will sit here all year round to avoid being destroyed by the chaos gods and demons. It involves too much energy. As for Tiangong Taoist, that guy still prefers to sleep. In his spare time, it would be better to let him refine elixirs and weapons. Forget it, let's wait until I get stronger. And now the Buzhu Mountain human race has not developed to the point where there are so many people and the land is so small. Boom. The world collapsed, and the remaining parts were quickly destroyed by the violent energy of chaos. Nuwa was obviously not one to give up easily. The huge red hydrangea and the overwhelming fire rushed straight towards Su Junming. Grabbing it with his right hand, Pan Tuo's giant axe appeared instantly. Slashing out suddenly, the vast axe light was like the Milky Way pouring out, instantly slicing through the chaos. Boom! The red hydrangea was instantly knocked away, and Nuwa's will was also broken in the overwhelming fire. The remaining Huojin lost the restraint of the soul and quickly disintegrated, being swallowed up by the chaotic aura. Nuwa looked solemn. She could see that the other party did not use the power of heaven and earth, but could compete with her just by relying on the power of Pango's true body. The strength was completely beyond her expectation. Why have you never heard of this person before? Of course, I was just surprised. She wanted to make the black turtle of the North Sea into a giant pillar that could support the sky. If it weren't for Hung Jun, she wouldn't have known that there was such a strong man in the ancient world. Seeing that the red hydrangea and the lotus lantern were unable to defeat each other, Nuwa's heart moved, and the map of mountains and rivers and the country came flying. This is already the most powerful spiritual treasure she can bring out. He stretched out his hand to grab it and shook it violently. The spiritual light surged, and Su Junming instantly felt that a huge world more powerful than Mount Buzhu and vaster than the world was crushing towards him. It felt like an ordinary person seeing a stone wall slowly squeezing towards them. Su Junming held the Pan Tuo giant axe tightly in his right hand, hesitated for a moment, and suppressed the idea of using the power of the prehistoric world. As soon as his heart moved, the Danshan time talisman radiated mightily, and Pan Tuo's giant axe suddenly slashed out. Destroy all living beings. A burst of time magic power burst out. The vast axe light instantly turned into glass color. The two are getting closer. Boom! Billions of miles of chaos instantly shook. The power of time exploded instantly, and a powerful axe light erupted again, directly shaking away the mountains and rivers. Nuwa's expression changed, and the red hydrangea that was ready to go flew directly out. There was another earth-shattering earthquake, and along with the boiling chaos, the red hydrangea and the second axe light cancelled each other out. Before Nuwa could breathe a sigh of relief, a third beam of axe, which was not weak at all, rushed over again. How can it be? Nuwa's eyes widened instantly. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1068. Chapter 1048 Shennong's Herbal Classic. Because the distance was too close, it was too late to activate the Zhongshan Shiji 2 and Red Hydrangea. The flame of the lotus lantern certainly couldn't stop the axe, and the natal spiritual treasure, the cauldron of creation, which had not been moved, flew out like lightning. Boom! The loud noise was deafening. Suddenly, the tripod of creation, which was not powerful enough, was blown away. At the same time, a powerful counter-shock force was transmitted into Nuwa's body. Fortunately, she was a saint and had the cauldron of creation to resist her. However, her blood was boiling and she was not injured. However, when another powerful axe light appeared, a trace of despair appeared on Nuwa's face. She had exhausted her means and could no longer resist. Call. The violent chaotic energy blew the hair on the temples. The vast axe light suddenly stopped when it was only 3 feet away from Nuwa. It was like a blue-white giant mountain stretching hundreds of millions of miles, suddenly stopping in front of us. It was an ultimate shock to the soul. Feeling the unimaginable murderous energy contained in it, Nuwa knew that under this axe, she would be seriously injured even if she was not dead. Sudden. The stopped axe light slowly dissipated. The domineering and powerful figure in the chaos in the distance, who suppressed the chaos for hundreds of millions of miles, has disappeared. Nuwa's expression changed, but she didn't say a word. He took a deep look into the depths of chaos and returned directly to the WA palace. Looking at the retreating figure, Su Junming dispersed his magical power, and the figure reappeared in the same place. Sighed. Panhuang's 9 axes destroy all living beings are the magical power of time. With his current realm and magic power, he can slash out 5 axe beams in a row. If you understand the path of time to the perfection of Hunyuan Golden Immortal, you can cut out 12 paths. Moreover, the power of each one is equal, and it is about the transformation of gods and ghosts. I would like to thank fellow Taoist Shattered Heart Glass for obtaining the name for the 7 swords of Jitian and using it here. However, this matter was always his fault first. Although Nuwa was ruthless, he could not ignore it. Fortunately, it seems that this matter has been successfully resolved so far. Oh, what a fuss. I looked at the direction of the great continent, hesitated for a moment, and still didn't go. Holy Emperor, this is the gift that Master asked me to hand over to you. Congratulations on your ascending to the throne of Emperor. I took the box and took a look. It contained carefully packaged tea leaves. As an expert in tea ceremony, he could tell at a glance that these teas were Hunyuan wonderful products. Normally, he would be happy to get such a magical tea, but now Fuxi is more anxious. Master is really not coming. Yes. Zhang Shinian nodded. Do you know the reason? Have no idea. That day when Empress Nuwa went to visit our respected master, what happened? This is what Fuxi wants to know most. My sister is a saint, anything can make her furious. And after that, he returned to Emperor Wa, and even his personal letters and inquiries were ignored. What made him even more unbelievable was that Su Junming was able to escape from his sister's hands unscathed. This is a saint, the most powerful existence in the world. Of course, he didn't know about Su Junming and Nuwa's fight in chaos, otherwise he would be even more shocked. I'm sorry for my poor eyesight, but I only know that my wife was arguing with the teacher, and then she suddenly turned against her. Zhang Shinian and Monk Zhang are also confused now. On the Tao. Fuxi has practiced for many years and has rich experience. Coupled with his understanding of his sister, he can probably guess the reason. His brows were furrowed. Based on his understanding of Su Junming, the other party would not be this kind of person. After a long time, he shook his head. Now that the matter has come to this, he doesn't want to worry about it anymore. I wonder if Su Junming will become my brother-in-law in the future. A ridiculous idea appeared in Fuxi's heart, but he quickly dismissed it. With his sister's proud character, unless he is stronger than her, he will not look down on her at all. 1 month later, the first tribal conference of the human race in medieval times was officially held in Huancaiyu. Fuxi became the co-leader of the human race under the witness of tens of thousands of large tribes and countless powerful people in the eastern wilderness. 3 million years later, he passed the position of co-master to his son Qingqian, and with the honor of the emperor, he entered the Fire Cloud Cave, one of the 36 caves, to practice. This year, Zhang Shinian completed his medical book. He named it Chennong's Materia Medica himself. The merit of opening up the ancient medical path allowed him to become a Hunyuan celestial immortal without the need for a catastrophe. After Qingqian ruled for 1,000 years, he passed it to his son Tan, and after Tan ruled for 8 million years, he passed it to his son Qaixun. The position of co-leader has been passed down to the Fuxi clan for 28 generations. After Tu Yuanhui, the Fuxi clan slowly declined, and the Liaoshan clan in the south rose. 3 Yuanhui later, the Liaishan clan annexed the surrounding tribes, changed its name to the Shenan clan, and held a tribal meeting in Liaishan city. A registered disciple of Master Suandu, Zhang Shan became the co-lord of the human race. Thanks to the foundation laid by Zhang Shinian, the Liaishan clan widely spread five-color rice in the southern wilderness, and was respected as the Shennan clan. 900 years later, as the young emperor of Jiangxi, Zhang Shan passed the position of co-master to his son Kui, known as Emperor Kui in history, and he went to Huoyun cave to practice. He was revered as the emperor of the earth by the prehistoric people. Emperor Kui passed down the emperor's inheritance for 3,000 years, and the emperor's inheritance passed down the emperor's Ming dynasty for 1,000 years. The Shenan family was also declining with the continuous inheritance. Boom! The mighty thunder was like a huge sword holding up the sky, crashing down. A large crimson cauldron shed heavy red light, blocking the attack of thunder. The two sides were in a stalemate for a long time. Just when the light of the cauldron became weaker and weaker, the thunder suddenly disappeared. Under the cauldron, a woman wearing a purple dress with beautiful appearance and noble temperament was revealed. At this moment, her hair was disheveled and she looked tired. She looked at the disappearing thunder in the sky with a faint sense of joy. But the look on his face was not relaxed at all. Soon, a thick black demonic energy flew into her spiritual platform like lightning. The whole person fell into silence for an instant. "Brother, what do you think?" Yang Mei looked at the woman who had overcome the calamity and said with a smile, "Junior Sister Feng, I have practiced several Yuan Hui and have a deep foundation. The flames of Taoism are powerful. I followed the teacher to mend the prehistoric world and accumulated a lot of merit. Overcoming thorns and thorns, leading the people of Buzhu Mountain to grow stronger, it is a great achievement. As a deacon, I have been in charge of Chongshan Academy for many years and have accumulated boundless teaching merits. With the help of such merits and virtues, I have a high chance of surviving this final inner demon tribulation and becoming a Hunyuan celestial immortal." Zhang Shinian nodded. "It seems we are about to fill in the shoes of a junior sister. Haha, it is also a good thing for us to carry forward the Chongshan lineage." Zhang Shinian nodded in agreement. After all, fighting alone is not as good as having a big sect behind you. Apart from anything else, if he had not borrowed various travel notes and rare objects collected in Chongshan Academy, he would not have been able to compile the Shennong's Herbal Classic. This first medical book in the world opened up the way of medicine and brought him great merits. If he were not afraid of a weak foundation, he could directly become a Hunyuan true immortal by virtue of his merits. Of course, the remaining merit was not wasted, making Shennong's Materia Medica a middle-grade merit treasure. Although this treasure is not very good in fighting skills, it is extremely powerful in protecting the mind. While the two were talking, the calamity clouds in the sky gradually turned into the aura of creation. Obviously, this disaster has passed. Half an hour later, a woman wearing red palace clothes flew over like lightning. The joy of advancing to Hunyuan was revealed on her pretty face. Feng Zanjian pays homage to the two senior brothers. "Junior brother, it's up to you to lure junior sister Feng to Chongshan residence." Zhang Shinian nodded and led Feng Zanjian to fly towards the main body of Chongshan residence in the bamboo forest at the central peak. The two came to the living room on the first floor. Su Junming was already waiting for them under the hanging painting with the word Dao. "Master, junior sister Feng has successfully overcome the tribulation, and I have been ordered to bring her here for an audience." Feng Zanjian pays homage to the teacher. After saying that, Ying bowed down. Su Junming, who was sitting on the futon, opened his eyes and looked at the disciple who was kneeling on the ground. A smile appeared on his face. "Among the many Deluo golden immortals in Chongshan, you are the first one to survive the heavenly tribulation and advance to Hunyuan. This shows that you have never slacked off in your daily practice. This is good. Teacher is overly praised." The disciple only had a slight advantage, and the cultivation level of several senior brothers is still above mine. Neither humble nor arrogant, very good. There was a pause. I said that day that those of you who have broken through the Hunyuan realm should become my direct disciples. Now that you have become a Hunyuan celestial immortal, I will accept you as my disciple as promised. Feng Zhanjiun became excited instantly. The difference between direct inheritance and registered name is a world of difference in terms of treatment. For those who are direct descendants, master and apprentice are connected by fate, share will and woe, both prosper and lose, and can receive unreserved teachings from their teachers. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1069. A registered disciple, I will teach you a skill, if you are lucky, and give you a magic weapon, it will already be great, it is completely freeing. In contrast, the direct disciples not only have the inheritance of the skills, but can also ask the teacher at any time if they don't understand. This alone is far superior to the outer disciples. Not to mention magic weapons, fighting skills, defense, and assistance are all taken care of, and if there are more, 6 or 7 will be given. Feng Zhanjiun is not that eager for magical weapons. After all, the treasures given by her teacher were enough for her. She would rather stay with her teacher and ask for advice from time to time so that she can further her cultivation. From today on, you are my third disciple. Su Junming opened his palms, and several rays of light flew out. First there is a red gourd. This is a storage gourd. It also has various wonderful functions of collecting, trapping, and killing. It is a 6-level forbidden medium-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure. It is also the mark of my direct disciple. I give it to you today. Thank you, mentor. Then there was another hill covered with clouds and fog. This is a lofty mountain. It is extremely solid and has the great power of hundreds of millions of weights. It can protect the law and defeat the enemy. It has endless wonderful uses. It contains 3 million miles of heavenly Dharma realm, which can be your dojo. The 6 forbidden medium-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasures, this treasure is also a standard treasure for my direct disciples. The next one was an indigo triangular spiritual flag, from which Feng Zhanjiun could feel the powerful aura of the wind. You major in the way of red fire and focus on killing, but your methods are single and easy to be targeted. This Feng Shen flag contains 7 Hunyuan restrictions. It is a top-grade Hunyuan spiritual treasure with infinite power. It has the ability to protect yourself, it can also be used to coordinate with your way of fire. Wind and fire are accompanied by each other, and their power is doubled. As Tiangong Dao and Good Fortune Dao simultaneously broke through the realm of Hunyuan Xianxian, Su Junming's refining of Hunyuan Lingbao became much easier than before. Moreover, with the help of Taoist Tiangong, refining Hunyuan Lingbao is much faster than before. Especially low-grade and mid-grade Hunyuan Lingbao are readily available. Finally, there is a bronze mirror as clear as water. This is the Dian Divine Mirror. It is the most precious treasure of our Chongshan section. It can help people realize the Tao, and it can also protect the mind. It has endless wonderful uses. You should understand it carefully. With a wave of his hand, the Dian Divine Mirror flew into Feng Zhanjiun's body and directly came to the center of Danshan. The rest of the treasures fell in front of her. Looking at the 3 radiant treasures, Feng Zhanjiun felt excited. I deeply feel that it was the right choice to devote myself to cultivation and break through the realm as soon as possible to become a direct descendant. Thank you very much, teacher, for giving me this treasure. I will remember this deeply and will definitely practice well in the future so as not to fall into the prestige of my Chongshan lineage. He smiled and nodded. You just broke through, go down and rest. Yes. Stone Year. Zhang Shinian quickly bowed. Arrange a place for your junior sister to live. Yes. Master, I'm going first. After Su Junming waved, Feng Zhanjian bowed deeply before following Zhang Shinian and leaving. In a flash of light, a fat man with grey hair wearing a green robe appeared next to Su Junming. That's weird, why are you here with me if you don't want to sleep? Do you still remember the soul of the black turtle? Certainly. He's reincarnated, I can feel it. How do you want to understand this cause and effect? Su Junming nodded and asked. Accept him as your disciple. You all have disciples, so I can't keep my disciple empty. Su Junming was amazed. With your sleepy temperament, I thought you would never accept a disciple in this life. Tiangong Taoist rolled his eyes. Master has something to do, and I will do my best. I am not a stupid person, and I have no other requirements in my life except sleeping. If there is any demolition in the future, I will beg you as long as I am by my side. It's rare for you to think so. The topic changed, how to find the whereabouts of the black turtle. Tiangong Taoist took out a blue jade talisman. As long as this jade talisman shines, it means that the person is nearby. The brighter it is, the closer it is. If it is within 10,000 miles, the jade talisman will fly out on its own initiative. The person who gets the jade talisman is the person I am looking for. He reached out and took it, briefly looking at it. The set of runes in the jade talisman is not too complicated. The key is that it contains a faint trace of soul. Although the main soul was taken away by Hongjun and Nuwa, there will always be some remnants of the chaos gods, demons, spirit, and flesh being integrated and closely integrated. The unity of soul and body is the key to the blood rebirth of chaos gods and demons. Without the soul, the body is just flesh. This is also the reason why the ancestral witches were killed in the first place. No matter how strong a chi practitioner is, he or she will have weaknesses. It depends on whether he can grasp the weaknesses. How far can your jade talisman sense? 30 million miles. It's only 30 million miles away. It's so vast. Am I not looking for a needle in a haystack? Hasn't your destiny already been promoted to Deluo? With this jade talisman as a basis, if you still can't find the whereabouts of the black turtle, the time of 3 Yuanhui will be wasted. Su Junming smiled lightly. I just broke through to the Hunyuan true immortal level, and I have to run errands for you. I really don't have a moment to spare. Get lost. You have already broken through a Yuanhui. After saying that, several auras of light flew in front of Su Junming. You asked me to refine the spiritual treasure and elixir. After saying that, the figure slowly disappeared. Looking at the treasure in front of him, he shook his head slightly. This guy even used threats. He put away his wave and walked to the quiet room. Sitting cross-legged in silence, the King Yun, the size of an acre field, spread out with 12 colors of spiritual light, and 3 large light blue lotus flowers appeared on the King Yun. It can be seen that the shape of the lotus is becoming more and more scattered, and the color is getting lighter and lighter. This shows that his major cultivation method is about to break out of the shackles of Suanmen Taoism and become truly unique. The lotus in the middle is still supported by the gourd vine holding the Dian mirror. But it can be seen that the gourds on the gourd vine are no longer green and small, but have become real gourds. This means that Su Junming and Renwuji have improved a lot in their understanding of the 12 perfect paths. On the lotus on the left, the underworld death flag, Xianyuan water control flag, Tianji divine ball, Pangu sword, and magic divine ball are arranged in sequence. On the lotus on the right side, there are 17 banners of gods and demons, overflowing with domineering power. He stretched out his hand and a stream of light flew out from the sealed gourd. It fell in front of me and turned into a sky blue transparent ball of light. Inside was a demon god with 12 heads and 24 arms, which seemed to be frozen, mysterious and weird. Su Junming stared for a moment. Ming Kang. Since killing the opponent, Nearly 6 yuanhui and 700 million years have passed. For a long time, he has been suppressing the desire to search for the other party's soul, waiting until now to advance to the Hunyuan true immortal, and at the same time realize the soul to the Hunyuan Xianxian realm. Taking a slight breath, his mana surged. The divine soul talisman in Danshan vibrated instantly. Search for souls. A mysterious, powerful, and domineering force instantly penetrated into Mingkang Yuan Shen. Ah! The scream suddenly came to mind. The 12 snake heads trembled, their green and penetrating snake eyes filled with hatred. Su Junming felt an increasingly strong resistance and wanted to squeeze out his soul power. Su, Jun, Ming, you can't even think of succeeding. The angry voice was earth-shattering. Su Junming looked cold and solemn. The divine light of creation. The milky white gourd of creation instantly shed a milky white spiritual light. With its blessing, the power of searching for souls instantly became hundreds of times stronger. The resistance of demon god Mingkang was instantly suppressed. Soon, he penetrated into the deepest part of Mingkang's heart, and scenes appeared in front of him. Contrary to his expectations, Mingkang was not a chaotic beast that was born from chaos, but was born in a powerful Hunyuan world similar to the Panga world. There are also demon clans in this world, but the most powerful ones are indeed the Netherworld clan. The Hades have snake heads and human bodies. As their cultivation level continues to improve, they will have more and more heads. Generally speaking, if you reach the peak of the mortal realm, that is, the peak of the soul, 3 heads will grow. The Yuanyang immortal stage grows 3 more, the Tai immortal and Deluo immortal stages each grow 3, and the same goes for the Hunyuan immortal. If a nether tribesman transforms from a mortal into a powerful Hunyuan golden immortal, he will have 15 snake heads. After demon god Mingkang became Hunyuan, he left the underworld without any worries and wandered in the chaos. He experienced a lot of weird and bizarre things in the middle, and his cultivation gradually improved to Hunyuan Xianxian. Then he saw something familiar from the other person's memory. That huge immortal mansion surrounded by countless chaos divine stones and hidden in a black hole. Like the Shadow Supreme, he also took advantage of the stillness of the boulder to break in. Because of his higher cultivation, he has gone deeper into the immortal mansion than the Shadow Supreme. Then I got a lot of treasures. The ancient jade dish that Su Junming cherishes so much is one of them. What surprised him even more was that Mingkang explained some of the ways to practice in chaos, and learned some information about the black hole immortal mansion from their mouths. The name of this immortal mansion is Kangyang, and it is rumored that it was left by Lord Kangyang countless epochs ago. No one knows how many years this immortal mansion has existed. In short, in this chaos, countless chaotic gods and demons know of its existence. Moreover, every 12 epochs of Kangyang immortal mansion, the vast sea of chaos divine stones outside the immortal mansion will stop. The powerful restrictions around the immortal mansion will also be stagnant, and all monks can enter to try their luck. It is a pity that from the existence of Kangyang immortal mansion to the present, no one has ever been able to obtain the core treasure and find the secret of becoming a great master. But there are countless monks who have obtained treasures from it. For countless epochs, the treasures in Kangyang immortal mansion seem to be endless. As long as you go in, there are always many people who can gain something. Of course, more people died inside the immortal mansion. But the rich harvest still stimulated the monks to take crazy risks. As for the words Su Junming wanted to understand, they also came from Kangyang immortal mansion. The monks call it the spirit pattern, also known as the Kangyang spirit pattern. This kind of spiritual pattern is much more advanced than the divine pattern, and it is also more obscure and mysterious. Therefore, even after countless epochs, people have only cracked a small part of it. In addition, the monks treasure their brooms very much, so there are not many Kangyang spirit patterns spread out. Demon god Mingkang spent all his efforts and even used several treasures obtained from Kangyang's immortal mansion, but he only exchanged 13 Kanyang spirit patterns. Later, after several Yuanhui practices, Mingkang's cultivation finally reached the perfection of Hunyuan Xianxian. It's a pity that his Tao Xin has been unable to break through. If he wants to survive the disaster and become a Hunyuan golden immortal, the chance is not high. In desperation, in search of opportunities for breakthrough, he began to wander in the chaos. I was very unlucky to meet Pangu. As we all know, when the heaven and earth are opened, the laws will appear. At this time, understanding the Great Road will get twice the result with half the effort. The opportunity is rare and has a fatal attraction for the chaos gods and demons. It was like putting freshly cooked braised pork in front of a person who had been hungry for 3 days, and the chaos gods and demons almost went crazy. They all flew here. At first, Pangu, the great god, also felt pity for their difficulty in enlightenment and did not stop them. But when these chaos gods and demons were too greedy and wanted to take advantage of Pangu's creation of the sky and consume huge mana, seize Pangu's axe, chaos green lotus and other treasures, and occupy the ancient world, the war inevitably broke out. 3,000 chaotic gods and demons died, and their corpses became the nutrients for the great development of the ancient world. But the great god Pangu, who consumed a huge amount of money, was unable to resist the great catastrophe of the opening of heaven and earth, and directly became Taoist in the prehistoric world. Mingkang fell into a deep sleep because of his serious injuries. When he woke up, prehistoric times had entered the ancient times. Hung Jun became a saint, and huge pressure spread across the world, making him who was originally planning to be born instantly withered. This is Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Even in his heyday, he was no match for him, let alone his half-disabled body. In order to survive, he used a secret method to separate the soul of an ancient poisonous dragon living deep in the swamp, and practiced it to the realm of Hunyuan. Then, Su Junming broke in, and the memory stopped abruptly. Saw it all. Su Junming took back his soul power and slowly exhaled. Although I haven't completely figured out the secret of the Kanyang spirit pattern, I finally know some of it. Moreover, I also have a thorough understanding of the beginning and end of Pangu's creation of the world before the beginning of the prehistoric times, which is a great gain. After thinking about it for a moment, I realized that the soul of demon god Mingkang was not completely destroyed. Seal it temporarily and put it behind the sealed gourd. The left palm was spread out, and a jade plate with an ancient yellow color and somewhere at the corners, revealing the vicissitudes of life, appeared in front of his eyes. He held it in front of his eyes and slowly opened it, and words exuding a mysterious and obscure atmosphere jumped out one by one. It's a pity that Su Junming basically doesn't know him. There is nothing more painful than this, especially for a person who has already remembered nearly 7 Yuanhui. Good things are never all gained. When demon god Mingkang exchanged 13 Kanyang spirit patterns from others, Su Junming naturally remembered them after reading his memory. With a movement in his heart, his magic power jumped. In an instant, 13 extremely complex Kanyang spirit patterns appeared in mid-air. In an instant, a powerful force of law spread out. The next moment, wind, frost, snow, rain, thunder, and lightning suddenly appeared in the quiet room. With the touch of your hand, all the strange appearances disappeared. It turns out that Kanyang's spiritual pattern is the manifestation of the power of law. The law represents the Great Road, which is supreme and extremely powerful. In contrast, the ancient divine writings are only the writings formed after the manifestation of the way of heaven in the prehistoric world. Although it is difficult for mortals to understand, it is much worse than the spiritual pattern. Comparing the 13 Kanyang spirit patterns and looking at the yellow jade plate in his hand, there are only 3 that are exactly the same. Dark, obscure, empty. After savoring it for a moment, his eyes wandered back and forth between the two. He put the jade dish away. Coming from a later generation, he knew that the structure of words had certain rules to follow. With these 13 references and the assistance of the Dian Divine Mirror, we can make some guesses. Of course, he still has to try it to know whether it will work as he imagined in the end. Suddenly, a spiritual light floated around me. The figure of Tiangong Taoist, who was hunched over and had a fat head and big ears, appeared in front of him again. Don't worry, after I finish the things at hand, I will go to the ancient world to find your precious apprentice. I know, but that's not why I came here. Hula, an extremely thick, simple, and mysterious scroll appeared in front of Su Junming. Thanks to the book Friend Baikan Great Emperor for the 900 starting coin reward, thank you very much. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1070. Looking at the scroll that was nearly 9 feet long that appeared in front of him, Su Junming frowned slightly. I sensed a familiar scent from above. The great formation of the 12 capital gods. Taoist Tiangong nodded and said, I have completely understood this formation diagram, and it is useless to keep it. However, the materials used to make the formation diagram are extraordinary. You can try the method of returning to the original and see what you gain. Su Junming waved his right hand and the scroll slowly opened. Along with the mysterious aura that spread quickly, purple restrictions formed by obscure restrictions appeared in front of them. After the 7 Yuan Shui came down, with the help of the Dian Divine Mirror, Tiangong Taoist had already comprehended the Tiangong Dao and reached the perfection of Hunyuan Xianxian. And his own cultivation has reached the perfection of Hunyuan Xianxian, and he has truly mastered the physical body of Suangi. Although he is still far from breaking through the Hunyuan Golden Immortal, he can at least truly exert the power of the Black Turtle body. As for the great formation diagram of the 12 capital gods, it was only at the high-grade Hunyuan stage. It had been thoroughly understood by him, and there was no need to keep it. In fact, they have already understood this formation, and the reason why they keep it is not to collect it, but because they are afraid that there are some details in it that they have not discovered, and thus miss the key and leave regrets. Now that he has reached the level of cultivation and his Taoism has surpassed that of the formation refiner, but after still finding nothing, neither Tiangong Taoist nor Su Junming wanted to keep him. How to say? This formation diagram is powerful if it is strong, but the people who refine this formation diagram are not very skilled in formation cultivation. The main reason for being able to set up such a large formation is that the materials are powerful. When writing a word, the larger the paper, the better it will naturally be. As long as you have good materials, you can still make a good magical weapon even if you don't have enough Taoism. But in the eyes of the weapon refiner, this is completely a waste of natural resources and must be severely criticized. Staring at the array diagram, Su Junming took a deep breath. If it weren't for the 12 capital heavenly gods formation, he would have returned this material to its original source. Are you sure? Of course, the array diagram is no longer valuable to us, Taoist Tiangong affirmed. Su Junming nodded slightly and formed a seal with his hands. The Tiangong gourd has a generous aura, and a crystal-colored divine light instantly envelops the entire formation. The formation diagram, which was originally only 9 feet in size, expanded rapidly. Hundreds of feet, thousands of feet, 10,000 feet, millions of feet, tens of millions of feet, hundreds of millions of feet. The color also changed from black to a color like mutton fat white jade. The shape is no longer flat, but has become angular. Looking at the huge skull in front of them, billions of feet in size, even if they knew it earlier, when they actually saw it, the two of them couldn't help but be a little surprised. This should be the head of Pangu. Su Junming nodded in agreement. To allow a person with low level of formation cultivation to refine a high-grade Hunyuan level formation, one must use top-quality Hunyuan level materials. At its peak, when Pangu reached the perfection of Hunyuan Golden Immortal and even half-stepped into Hongmeng, the head left behind was the best choice. The hard skull can also withstand the huge force of heaven and earth. It is the most important relic of the great god Pangu, and it can also borrow more power from heaven and earth. I really didn't expect that Pangu's skull was actually preserved and was even made into a formation by the witch clan. Tiangong Taoist nodded and looked at the 12 extremely mysterious divine patterns between the eyebrows of the skull. Each divine pattern exuded a different Taoist charm. Su Junming and Tiangong Taoist are no strangers to this kind of original imprint formed after comprehending the great Dao to Hunyuan, and it is also found on their bones. Although great god Pangu is powerful, without the help of Kongbao, it is impossible to comprehend the 12 avenues to the peak of Hunyuan at the same time. Su Junming nodded in agreement. The great god Pangu was indeed highly qualified and had astonishing understanding. But no matter how strong he is, there is a limit. It is already remarkable for other chaos gods and demons to understand 1 or 2 avenues. No matter how talented Pangu is, he can only practice 3 or 4 avenues at most. Nowadays, it is impossible for fellow practitioners of the 12 paths to do so without the assistance of important treasures such as the Dian Divine Mirror. Through the memory of demon god Mingkang, the Pangu axe of the great god Pangu is unparalleled in killing, the 24th grade Qinglian is unparalleled in defense, the Chaos Pearl can be far or near, and it is as powerful as a giant. Apart from this, no other treasures have been found. The voice paused. Tiangong Taoist happened to turn his head, and the two of them looked at each other and said in unison, "The jade disc of good fortune." Although I have never seen the jade dish of creation, I can simply guess that this treasure has no attack and killing power and is most suitable for enlightenment. This also explains why Hung Jun was able to give lectures in Xixiao Palace 3 times and became the ancestor of Taoism. Enlightenment, merit, and sanctification. If you don't have enough understanding of multiple avenues, you definitely don't have this ability. Taoist Tiangong nodded and then added, "Not necessarily. It is impossible to say that this treasure can also protect the soul. Furthermore, have you ever thought that the Dian Mirror sent us back to this era not for the Kunlun Mirror, but for the jade disc of good fortune?" Su Junming was shocked and frowned. After a while, he smiled bitterly. "It is indeed possible, but it is best not to be like this, otherwise we will be the enemy of the strongest person in the world. Coupled with Sanking, Urfo and Nuwa, we have almost no chance of winning. You forgot about the Battle of the Gods. The Battle of the Gods is indeed an opportunity, but with the addition of Tongtian cult leader, our strength is not evenly distributed. It is impossible to do everything with absolute certainty. Just do your best," Tiangong Taoist said. Su Junming nodded slowly. Seeing his solemn expression, Taoist Tiangong suddenly said, "Actually, you don't have to be too stressed. What the Dian Divine Mirror needs is not necessarily the jade disc of good fortune. Of course I know. But we must be fully prepared for every possible choice. The Dian Mirror is too important to us. Without it, Su Junming would have little confidence that he would be able to advance to the Hongmeng realm in the future." Taoist Tiangong nodded slightly. "When will Lao Ba be born? I can feel that it's already going very fast. It's about the time when I've reached the level of Hunyuan true immortal that I've reached perfection, and that's when he'll be born. If we add Lao Ba, the 3 of us, plus Yang Mei, and Master Tongtian, even Master and disciple Hung Jun can fight. There are still several Yuan Hui before the Battle of the Gods. Su Junming is confident that he will become a Hunyuan Xianxian. With the Dushan Shensha formation, he will definitely have the fighting power of a saint. A Tiangong Taoist can survive the catastrophe with at most 1 Yuan Hui and become a Hunyuan Golden Immortal. Yang Mei himself is a powerful person at the Hunyuan Golden Immortal level. His realm is still there, he just needs to cultivate his magic power back. With such a rapid advancement, he would definitely be able to advance to Hunyuan Golden Immortal before Master Su Junming. As for Su Junming's smelly Fei Po true body, when he was born, even if he was not a Hunyuan Golden Immortal, he was still a Hunyuan Xian Immortal. Several Yuanhui's time is enough for him to overcome the tribulation and take a step forward. Counting the Tongtian cult leader, they have 5 saint-level combat powers. Although there is one less than Hung Jun's side, it is not without the strength to fight. Moreover, from the beginning of the prehistoric era to the present, the Hunyuan golden immortals and saints are not what we see now. The Xianyuan Taoist who opened up the world on the edge of the prehistoric world, and the Hutu Empress hidden in the depths of reincarnation, also have saints. Level of combat power. And they will definitely not be on Hung Jun's side. Of course, they may not be on their side. What should I do with this thing? Su Junming looked at the huge Pangu head in the distance. He quickly formed seals with his hands, and the time gourd once again shed a huge amount of crystal-colored divine light. The aura of the jade-colored head bathed in the divine light became stronger and stronger, and gradually, traces of blood quickly grew. The rich blood energy, like a coiled dragon and snake, quickly coiled around the skull. Sudden. The spiritual light dissipated, and the blood energy disintegrated and became invisible. But the aura of Pangu's head was much stronger than before. He let out a long sigh. My way of time is not as powerful as the Hunyuan golden immortal, so I cannot completely restore the Pangu skull. Taoist Tiangong understood instantly. Are you planning to let Lao Ba use Pangu's head as a body? No, to be precise, I want to reshape Pangu's physical body. Su Junming's face showed deep anticipation. As long as I make a breakthrough in time, I can completely restore this head to its peak state. A truly complete Pangu head. The rest is up to you. You want me to use the divine light of creation to complete the remaining parts, Tiangong Taoist said. That's right. With Pangu's head as the foundation and the help of the divine light of creation, this is not a difficult task. But the premise is that your creation path must also break through the Hunyuan golden immortal. The Tiangong Taoist's realm of creation lags behind that of Tiangong Tao, but it's not too far behind. It only takes 1 Yuan Hui at most to break through. Therefore, Su Junming's idea has a great possibility of being realized. Of course this takes enough time. Pangu's physical strength had reached the peak of Hunyuan golden immortal. If you want to repair such a physical body, you can see what kind of price you have to pay. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1071. How long will it take for you to break through the Hunyuan golden immortal through the way of time? At least 3 Yuan Hui. So long. You know that the Tao becomes more difficult as it goes up. Moreover, the Tao of time is the most powerful Tao after fate. It is more difficult to understand than other Tao. Of course it takes a huge amount of time. In fact, if it weren't for the Dian Divine Mirror to bless my understanding and the Tao of time to slow down the flow of time, let alone 3 Yuan Hui, even 30 Yuan Hui, I wouldn't be able to let the Tao of time break through the Hunyuan golden immortal, Su Junming said. Having said that, if you delay on the path of time for so long, even if you and I work together, we may not be able to fully restore Pangu's physical body before the conferred God War. If you miss this opportunity, it will be difficult to divide Hung Jun's disciples and take away the jade plate of creation, Tiangong Taoist said solemnly. I know. So when your creation Dao advances to the Hunyuan golden immortal queen, you must first use the divine light of creation to completely restore his bones. In this way, it will be easier to restore his flesh and blood. You really treat me like a coolie, Taoist Tiangong said angrily. Haha, you and I are one. If I am for you, I am for me. There is no difference between us. Rolled his eyes. If you have this spare time to plot against me, why not plot against Nuwa? Her creation path is now at the Hunyuan golden immortal realm. If you can win over her, it will not only weaken Hung Jun's strength, but also realize your plan earlier. The way of heaven is the way of humanity. I almost killed her last time. It would be weird if she could help me. After all, you have come from China's information explosion era. Don't you still understand the mind of a woman? Taoist Tiangong said with disdain. If you want to conquer her heart, you must first conquer her people, especially people like Nuwa. A saint who is aloof and inviolable. What's more, you've already had it once. Once she is born, twice she becomes acquainted, and 3 times she is yours. Looking at the plausive Taoist Tiangong, Su Junming could not help but picture Nuwa with a livid face and an appearance of vowing not to give up until she killed him. I shuddered subconsciously. Terrible. Nuwa is a saint, not an ordinary woman. She is a saint and a woman. Especially since she became a saint through meritorious deeds, she did not become a saint by beheading corpses. She has all 7 emotions and 6 desires, and they are even stronger than those of mortals. Desire comes from the soul. Monks are born with powerful souls, and their desires are of course far greater than those of ordinary people. This is why the higher the cultivation level, the more afraid monks are of inner demons. Shut up, I will never betray my appearance, Su Junming said firmly. Young people are just hypocritical. Don't you know that a female cultivator like Nuwa, who has a high level of cultivation and is also involved in the Dao of creation, is simply the best Taoist companion? With dual cultivation, it will no longer be difficult to break through the Hongmeng realm in the future. And didn't the teacher say that? We have to make more friends and fewer enemies. Only then can we win. You and Nuwa become Taoist couples. Hung Jun will have one less saint, and we will have a better chance of winning. Tiangong Taoist's old face was full of encouragement. If you want to go, I definitely won't go. After saying that, the figure flashed and disappeared instantly. Oh, what a stupid head, so unreasonable. Emperor Wa's heaven, Nuwa's palace. The Nuwa Empress, who once wore a plumage, a high crown, a phoenix crown, and a plumage, was now wearing a simple white dress, with her long black silky hair tied behind her head by a red silk scarf. With her simple attire, Nuwa, who majored in cultivating the Tao of creation, seemed to be glowing with kindness and motherhood. Elegant yet refined, beautiful yet gorgeous. White and slender fingers slowly brushed across the abdomen, and a warm smile couldn't help but appear on his face. Suddenly, his face changed slightly. With a thought in his heart, his clothes quickly changed into bright red palace clothes, with his phoenix crown held high, and his expression was awe-inspiring and inviolable. This is the saint that everyone remembers. He patted the magic bag on his waist and a jade talisman flew out. The pale white fluorescence changes instantly. In an instant, an old Taoist wearing a green Taoist robe, with an old face but a majestic look, appeared in the air. Nuwa pays homage to the teacher. After nodding slightly. Is the soul of the black turtle finished? Most of the grievances have been eliminated, but their consciousness will not be destroyed. There is still a huge amount of grievances growing every moment, and it is difficult to completely eradicate them. This is normal. It just needs to be a disaster. Nuwa was smart and understood instantly. Teacher, please give me your instructions. You go to the Julai tribe on the shores of the ancient East China Sea and let this black turtle be reincarnated as the son of the leader of the Julai tribe. Disciple, obey. The old Taoist nodded and looked at his disciple. Although it seemed a little different, I didn't say much. The light dissipated and turned into a jade talisman again, falling into Nuwa's hands. Holding the jade talisman, I recalled the teacher's instructions. The son of the leader of the Julai tribe, should he be made the human emperor? It is very possible that the merits derived from using the black turtle's 4 legs to support the sky. She shook her head slightly. Since she became a saint, she has rarely cared about things in the wilderness, especially after the demon clan was destroyed. Therefore, no matter whether the soul of this black turtle would be reincarnated as a human emperor, she did not want to interfere. He placed his left hand subconsciously on his abdomen, and after a moment of pondering, he stepped out of the Wa palace. Su Junming took the jade talisman given by Taoist Tiangong and came to the ancient land through the teleportation array. As soon as he came out, he felt the increasingly rich red dust between heaven and earth. Obviously, after the era of Fuxi clan rule, the Shenan clan rule, nearly 7 Yuanhui came down, and the prosperous prehistoric period was restored, a new crisis had begun to brew. It won't be long before it's the time of Ji Xianyuan and Qiyu. Su Junming not only sighed in his heart. After advancing to Hunyuan, time passes too fast. A retreat lasts for millions, or even tens of millions of years. If you want to achieve something, you must take Yuanhui as your unit. The Tai and Deluo periods were simply two completely opposite concepts. No wonder there are so few Hunyuan monks in the ancient world. Walking out of the teleportation array, what you see is the Buzhu Mountain Chongshan cave heaven filled with innate spiritual energy. After being destroyed by the Lich War, this once prehistoric cave was restored to life in the hands of Su Junming. And more powerful. The area of 99 trillion miles is not too big, but the sufficient innate spiritual energy ensures that there are many powerful people in Chongshan Academy. Now, Feng Zhanjian, the Hunyuan monk, has appeared. The strong sex luck also provided huge assistance to Su Junming's cultivation. Feeling the powerful auras everywhere in the world, there were no less than 300 Deluo golden immortals. Su Junming nodded secretly. Although he has not been in Buzhu Mountain these years, his attention to Chongshan has not decreased at all. However, thanks to Chongshan Academy's mature cultivation physique and the unique test he set that directly penetrated into the soul. The 7 deacons of Chongshan Academy, as well as the heads of the major clans, are all decent-minded people with many talents and skills, so even if he rarely shows up, Chongshan Academy is still prospering. I originally wanted to stay at Chongshan Academy for a few days. But it seemed like he had nothing to do, so he simply left. Coming out of Chongshan Cave is Buzhu Mountain. Once the first mountain in the wild, after about 1/3 was broken off by Gong Gong, the summit platform left was hundreds of millions of acres in size. When Su Junming chose to establish his sect here, it seemed relatively empty. But looking now, we can see large and small pavilions and pavilions surrounded by green trees, dotted with rivers, lakes, and ponds of different shapes, and thick or light clouds and clouds floating in the sky. Coupled with the flying stars chasing electricity and deceiving the Qi practitioners who come and go, it is really a rare fairyland and a blessed land. Su Junming was still hesitating at first whether to directly pull out Mount Buzhu and return it to its origins, turning it into the backbone of Pangu. With it combined with Pangu's head, his plan to reshape Pangu's physical body could be advanced by at least half a century. But now look at the quiet and peaceful Chongshan Academy, which is comparable to a fairyland in another world. He didn't plan to move anymore. There is no need to shake the foundation of the sect for selfish reasons. However, the Fantian seal in Guangqinzi's hand can be used for some planning. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1072. Just when Su Junming was about to leave Buzhu Mountain quietly, hundreds of streams of light suddenly rose into the sky, like a flock of startled birds, flying towards the Dongtian Hall in the middle and disappearing inside. Seeing this, Su Junming's heart moved, and he activated the magic formula to return to Chongshan Cave. Dong dong dong. The loud bell resounded throughout the cave. Thousands of streams of light flew straight towards Chongshan Hall, the central peak of Kixuan Cliff, floating above the cave sky. Every stream of light is a Deluo realm monk. The vast and endless appearance shows the powerful strength of Chongshan Academy. He frowned and listened quietly. The bell rang 7 times. The meaning of each ringing of the golden bell of Chongshan Academy was originally set by him and has not changed to this day. 7 bells ring, which means encountering a powerful enemy. After thinking for a moment, his heart moved, and the power of space and time filled the air at the same time. His body disappeared, and the surrounding aura also dissipated. With one step, he arrived at the Chongshan Hall in an instant. Nanshan Kun, Fang Fen Yan Jiun, Wolong Xuan, Bifang Liwo, Ji Qing Feng, Yosheo Dingshan, Shuiyun, the second-generation deacons of Chongshan are sitting in the center, with De Luo Jingxian at the bottom, De Luo Xianxian at the periphery, and De Luo Xianxian at the bottom. Luo Zhenxian and De Luo Tianxian. In addition to traveling, people who have made breakthroughs in seclusion, or who sit in the lower, middle, and upper courtyards of Chongshan, as well as in the tribes. All the De Luo monks in Chongshan are here. The number is so large that there are millions of people in total. When everyone arrived, Nanshan Kun, who was wearing a purple robe and a golden crown, with a solemn and majestic air, flicked his finger. Ding! The crisp ringtone resounded in all directions, and everyone's thoughts were clear, and they subconsciously became quiet. As the first deacon, Nanshan Kun has the most power among the 7 deacons and is also a perfect monk of De Luo Jingxian. However, his Taoism has not broken through Hunyuan, so he is not like the previous generation of deacons who resigned for the sake of breakthrough. Of course, this day is not too far away. Basically, within one UN meeting, or even shorter, all 7 deacons will retire. From now on, the term of deacons of each generation will basically be fixed at a yuan hui. It can be shorter, but it will not be longer. If it exceeds the limit, you will have to retire. The reason why we called everyone here today is because a major event happened that affects the survival of our Chongshan Academy. As soon as Nanshan Kun said this, everyone was shocked, and Su Junming also frowned. Deacon Nanshan, what happened? Have you informed the founder and several teachers? The speaker sat down and lowered his head. He was wearing a blue robe, with white beard and hair. He was a senior Chongshan disciple with the cultivation of De Luo Jingxian. There are people of the same generation as the previous generation of deacons, but their qualifications are not very outstanding. After nearly 7 yuan hui, they have reached the peak of De Luo Jingxian. Even so, as the elder of the sect, there are many students around him, and he has a huge influence in the sect. Even Nanshan Kun, who is the first deacon, dare not ignore it? Not yet. Moreover, we still need to discuss whether this matter should alarm the patriarch and several teachers. After speaking, he gave Shuiyun, who was also a deacon next to him, a wink. Everyone, let me speak on this matter. After attracting everyone's attention. 3 months ago, a small team traveling under the Chongshan sect lost their traces. The academy sent a team of Chongshan Golden Guards to search for their whereabouts. Chongshan Guard is the violent organization of Chongshan Academy. It is responsible for protecting the safety of Chongshan sect, eradicating evil cultivators who break into Chongshan sect, and tracing the traces of missing disciples. If they are assassinated, they must eradicate their enemies. Seek justice for him. Therefore, those who enter this institution are all powerful disciples in the sect. Moreover, according to different cultivation levels, there are 2 levels, gold and silver. The Chongshan Golden Guards are De Luo level disciples and are mainly responsible for the safety of Chongshan disciples outside the Buzhu mountain area. Yunwei is a disciple of Tai realm and is mainly responsible for the safety inside Chongshan. I didn't expect this team of Chongshan Golden Guards to have lost sight of them again. What? How can it be? Everyone was in an uproar. All disciples of Chongshan Academy know that according to Kongshan's internal rules, the number of a team is 7. Among them are those who specialize in fire, thunder, or sword, and have sharp attack skills. There are also those who major in earth. The defensive type has the support of majoring in Aoki and creation. In addition, since they started practicing, they have been accustomed to carrying out tasks in small teams, and they cooperate with each other tacitly, and their combat effectiveness has doubled. The 7 Delugo celestial immortals, working together, can defeat even the Delugo true immortal. Even if you encounter Delugo Xianxian, you can escape even if you have the sect's most important treasure, the Buzhu Cauldron. The whole army will be wiped out, unless it encounters a powerful enemy that is far beyond its strength. What level are this team of Chongshan Golden Guards at? A Chongshan old man asked. Everyone immediately thought of the key point. 1 Delugo Golden Immortal, 2 Delugo Xian Immortals, and 4 Delugo True Immortals, Shui Yun said in a deep voice. His. Many people gasped. This configuration is not said to be top-notch, but it can also be said to be powerful. If the 7 people join forces, unless they are the top masters who have perfected Delugo Jinxian and have heavy treasures in their possession, they will not be able to win at all. Of course, the most likely one is Hunyuan monk. Shui Yun continued, later, I went there personally and followed the traces they left to find the Sea of Blood. As soon as the 2 deliberately emphasized words came out, everyone around him fell silent for an instant. The Sea of Blood is as famous as the Longevity Mountain, Bihai Demon Master Palace, Huoyun Cave and other famous fairy mountain mansions, and is second only to the sage monasteries such as Kunlun Mountain, Shaoyang Mountain, Jinao Island, and Sumi Mountain. The great power born in the Sea of Blood, Patriarch Styx, was one of the same generation as Sanking, Zhen Yuanzi, etc. who came to Xixiao Palace back then. Although he failed to advance to the Holy Realm, he was still a famous power in the ancient world. Although everyone has full confidence in their own ancestor, they don't have much confidence in the face of Patriarch Styx, who was born in ancient times, became a Taoist in ancient times, and practiced dozens of Yuanhui. Now everyone finally understood why Nanshan Kun said that Chongshan Academy had encountered a major matter of life and death. Since it concerns the Patriarch of the Blood Sea and Styx, we should inform the Patriarch of the matter earlier, said an old man. Don't be too hasty. We haven't fully understood this matter yet. What if someone deliberately frames us and pits Chongshan against the Sea of Blood? If we mobilize our troops to rush to the Sea of Blood, wouldn't we play into the opponent's plan? Everyone was talking a lot, divided into 2 groups, those who were in favor and those who were opposed, and no one could convince anyone. Everyone's attention was once again focused on the 7 deacons. Nanshan Kun cleared his throat. Since it is still uncertain whether Sui Hai is responsible for this matter, we cannot act recklessly, so I plan to take 6 Delugo Golden Immortals with me to go to Blood Sea to see the ancestor of Styx and ask the matter clearly. In the meantime, everyone, please make preparations. If I leave and never come back, I will inform the founder and other teachers to level the Sea of Blood and avenge my Chongshan disciples. Hearing this, the atmosphere in the hall suddenly became a bit more depressing and chilling. A middle-aged man in a black robe with a solemn expression stood up in the front row. Deacon, I am willing to go to the Sea of Blood with you. I do too. And I. After a while, all the disciples who had achieved Delugo Jinxian stood up. Okay, stop arguing. With old guys like us here, it's not your turn for little bastards to take action. An old man with grey hair and grey GE clothes slowly stood up. Seeing him, even the 7 deacons showed respect. His name is Gui Zhanghu, and he is the first-generation disciple of Chongshan with the word Zhang. However, compared to Bai Zhangling, Dating Zhangshan, Feng Zhanjian, Shui Zhangyang, Ji Zhanjiao, and others who were promoted to the Great Lugo Jinxian earlier, it took him nearly 6 Yuanhui to advance to the Great Lugo Jinxian. The potential is almost exhausted, there are no big opportunities, and the possibility of continuing upward is basically lost. After him, several more white-haired old men stood up. They are in a similar situation to Gui Zhanghu. Although they have the cultivation level of Delugo Jinxian, it is difficult to break through Hunyuan without a great opportunity. Deacon, we are going to the Sea of Blood, and there are many crises. These young people still have a brighter future, there is no need to let them go. That's right. We old guys have half of our necks buried in the ground. It's an honor for us to devote ourselves to the sect before we become Taoists. Looking at the elders with smiles on their faces and looking down on life and death, all the Chongshan disciples in the hall showed reverence. Nanshan Kun looked solemn. The juniors are well aware of the good intentions of the elders. But I, disciple Chongshan, am not an impassioned and loyal person? How can I let you charge forward while we, the stronger juniors, stay behind? What the deacon said is true. I think I am a man with a strong stomach, so why should I back down when things get tough? That's right, if the patriarch knew what happened today, he would kill us. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1073. Seniors, you must have heard what everyone said. It's not that I don't want to take you there, it's that everyone refuses to let you go, Nanshan Kun said with a smile. Of course, these seniors who have been practicing for many years have no chance of breaking through Hunyuan. However, he has been in the Deluo realm for many years and has taught no less than 10 million disciples, who are highly virtuous and respected. Moreover, he has many years of teaching experience and is extremely experienced. Such an old teacher is much more valuable than the Chongshan disciples who only know how to fight and kill. They can be called treasures. If the patriarch knew that he took these treasures to dangerous places like the Blood Sea, he would have to skin him. A few old men were not ready to give up, but they persuaded too many people, and in the end they had to give up. Soon, everyone voted and the person who accompanied Nanshan Kun to the Sea of Blood was decided. After explaining some precautions, everyone dispersed. The entire Chongshan hall became empty. Apart from the people who were about to set off to the Blood Sea, the only ones left were the 7 deacons. Everyone, I will leave the affairs of the sect to you, Nanshan Kun said. Uncle, how about I lead the team this time, Yoshio Dingshan said. He is also one of the 7 deacons. No, as the first deacon, I have the unshirkable responsibility for this matter. After patting him on the shoulder, he turned his eyes. Remember, if I can't come back within a month, or if no news comes back, inform the founder and several division commanders immediately. Fang Feng Yanjian, Wolong Xuan, Bifang Liwo, Ji Qingfeng, Yoshia and Shui Yun all nodded at the same time. The sect will be left to you. Let's go. Nanshan Kun gave an order, and 7 escaping lights flew towards the teleportation array. Xiang Mountain is a mountain and river stretching for 3 quadrillion miles in the western wilderness. Among the many giant mountains in the ancient times, it was only considered average. Although the spiritual energy can be considered dense, it is far inferior to that of Cave Heaven Paradise. Deep in Xiang Mountain, there is a sinkhole with a diameter of several thousand feet that goes straight to the ground. The sinkhole is so deep that even the hot and bright sunlight cannot penetrate the seemingly solidified darkness. Standing on the edge and peeking, there are sounds of ghosts crying and wolves howling inside, as if they are straight into the netherworld. But deep in this seemingly deserted sinkhole, there is a vast cave sky. In the center of the cave is a bluestone altar. The altar is the Chongshan Academy teleportation array, the most common style. There was a flash of light, and the figures of Nanshan Kun and the other 7 people appeared. Obviously, this is a branch of Chongshan Academy. Ever since Su Junming set up the teleportation array in the Black Mist Swamp and made it a branch of Chongshan Academy, in the following 6 Yuanhui and hundreds of millions of years later, Chongshan Academy has successively opened caves and set up teleportation arrays in some hidden places. The purpose is to facilitate travel without having to spend hundreds or even thousands of years traveling back and forth. After getting off the teleportation array, he flew to the Bluestone Hall not far away. Seeing them coming in, several young disciples responsible for guarding the place did not dare to neglect and quickly welcomed the elders in. Are the 2 guards here? Deacon and seniors, the 2 guards are in retreat, the young disciple said quickly. Chongshan Academy is guarded by 2 or 3 Deluo Jinxian in every cave outside Buzhu Mountain, and they rotate every tens of millions of years. Back then, Nanshan Kun also served as the guard of the 100,000 mountains in the southern wilderness. Don't alarm them, just register for us. Yes. Registration for entry and exit is a mandatory requirement in Chongshan, and no one can be exempted from it. After registering, Nanshan Kun left with 6 people. Watching their leaving figures, the young disciple looked at the roster. Good guys, they are all Deluo Jinxian, and even Nanshan Kun, who is known as the first deacon, has been dispatched. Is there anything big happening in Zhuang? Have no idea. The companion shook his head. They are just Taoistian and are not qualified to participate in sect affairs. Leaving Xiang Mountain and continuing to the west, the originally lush vegetation became increasingly sparse. Gradually, a strong smell of blood began to linger on the tip of his nose. As the smell of blood became stronger and stronger, the vegetation gradually disappeared, turning into sand and gravel with a faint blood color. 300 billion miles further forward, the sound of surging waves came. Another 80 billion miles. A spectacular scene appeared in front of me. Endless purple-red blood stretches to the end of the world. The blood water, which was hundreds of feet high, was layered on top of each other, covering hundreds of millions of miles, and the sound was like thunder. The stinky smell of blood made everyone frown in excitement. A sea of blood. Rumor has it that it was transformed from the dirty blood in the belly button of the great god Pangu. Regardless of whether this is true or not, this place is indeed not a good place. The strong smell of blood can easily breed evil thoughts. The Azura clan, born in the sea of blood, is also famous for killing. Here we are. Want to go in? Nanshan Kun nodded. Before you figure things out, of course you must be polite before fighting. Let's go. Everyone nodded and flew towards the depths of the sea of blood. Not long after, a huge stone mountain appeared in the distance. There is a stone palace at the top of the stone mountain. The 3-character divine pattern of Yingbin Hall on the plaque is clearly visible. Blood Sea is based in the ancient times, so it is of course impossible to cut off contact with the outside world. The 7 people fell down and were responsible for guarding the main hall. The ugly-looking Azura guard, who was nearly 10 feet tall and was wearing a bloody armor and holding a sharp blade, looked a little more solemn for a moment. Even the Azura clan dare not ignore the 7 Deluo golden immortals. A tall Azura stepped forward. I wonder why some of you came to my place of blood. We are disciples of Chongshan Academy. We have something urgent to ask to see Senior Ming He. Please inform me. A disciple of Chongshan Academy. Azura looked at the 7 people. 7 seniors, please come to the Yingbin Hall and sit down for a while. I will go to the Azura Hall to report immediately. Nanshan Kun nodded and walked into the hall under the leadership of another Azura warrior. There are more than a dozen yellow futons placed in the spacious hall. Next to them stood several Azura women with beautiful faces and enchanting figures. Guys, please take a break. I'll go report to you right now. After saying that, he gave the Azura warrior next to him a vague look, transformed into an escape light, and flew out of the hall. After the 7 people sat down, the Azura maid served tea and fruits. Although they were rare spiritual things, no one had the intention to taste them. Deacon, looking at the expressions of the 2 Azuras just now, they obviously know something. That's right. His eyes are weird, his expression is erratic, and he probably has bad intentions. Be patient, don't be impatient, and act according to circumstances. After transmitting the sound into the secret and comforting the disciples, Nanshan Kun subconsciously looked at his Danshan with his spiritual consciousness. In addition to his magical weapon, there was also a green jade talisman the size of an adult's palm, shining brightly. This talisman was given to him personally by the old man when he was promoted to the 2nd generation Chongshan deacon and was summoned by his ancestor. It contains 3 ancestral Taoist techniques. If the jade talisman is crushed, it can burst out infinite Hushan divine power. No matter how strong the restriction is, it can be moved away instantly. It can be called a life-saving god. This talisman was also the reason why he dared to bring everyone to the Blood Sea. Even if the ancestor of Styx takes action himself, with this talisman, he is confident that he can lead everyone away safely. The Sea of Blood is vast, if you want to compare it. The prehistoric continent is equivalent to Asia, the Buzhu Mountain jurisdiction of Chongshan Academy is equivalent to the Western region, and the Blood Sea is equivalent to the Caspian Sea. The diameter alone exceeds 1.5 trillion miles. The depth is more than 30 trillion miles. Under the endless sea of blood are vast bloody palaces. Its size is dozens of times larger than the current Liaoshan city, the center of the Donghuang human race. In the middle, there were countless ugly Azura warriors, riding ferocious blood beasts and wearing tattered armor, fighting fiercely. There are also countless Azura women with beautiful looks, slutty expressions, and hot bodies, who are alluring the sky and the earth. Killing and mating are the eternal themes of the Azura clan. In the center of the huge city is a magnificent inner city. The Azura warriors here have bright armor, the women are neatly dressed, and their expressions are respectful. Compared with the chaos outside, they are completely opposite worlds. In the center of the grand and neat palace in the inner city is a large hall made entirely of blood-red crystal stones. Thousands of feet high and hundreds of feet wide, simple yet majestic. The tall door opened, and on the plaque hundreds of feet above, the words Azura Hall glowed with rich blood light.